Okay, good afternoon and welcome to our class, IT 320. And our topic for this afternoon is about simple API for XML. So we are now on Unit 4. Still, we are on Application Programming Interface. And our objectives are as follows. Number 1, discuss the importance of simple API for XML. Number 2, value the importance of simple API for XML and understand the basic concepts of simple API for XML. So we have simple API for XML, and you can see on figure 24 the SACS event handler, wherein SACS stands for Simple Application XML. And it is an event or event-driven online algorithm for parsing XML documents. So when you speak about parsing, this is another terminology for indexing. So with an API developed by XML Development Mail-List, the SACS provides a mechanism for reading data from an XML document that is an alternative to the provided by the document object model, or a DOM. So where the DOM operates on the document as a whole, building the full abstract syntax tree of an XML document for convenience of the user. What SACS do, it parses operates on each piece of XML document sequentially, issuing parsing events while making a single pass through the input stream. Now, what is the benefit of simple API for XML? So a SACS parser only needs to report each parsing event as it happens, and normally disregards or discards almost all of the information once reported it. Does, however, keep some things. Example of this is the list of all elements that have not yet been closed. And thus the minimum memory required for SACS parser is the proportional to the maximum depth of the XML file. So one applicable application for SACS is nowadays in Windows 11 is that you will notice that if you're going to shut down temporarily your computer without closing all the programs, the browsers, the programs that you're running, what will happen is that your SACS will automatically activate any program that you left off. Meaning to say, pag close mo or shut down mo insigida inyong laptop. For example, kung Windows 11 ang ginagamit mo, so pag abri mo liwat ka lang laptop nga daya, mabalik ka sa dati nga ginaobran mo. So automatically, your computer will prompt to open the parsing catalogs or the parsing sequences where you left off. So, amo yung benefit kay inyo nga SACS. Okay? SACS is an event-driven online algorithm, for parsing XML documents. We all know that. With an API developed by the XML Development Mail-List, it provides a mechanism for reading data from the XML document that is an alternative, so that provided by the document object model, where the DOM operates on the document as a whole. So building a full abstract syntax tree of an XML document for convenience of the user. So this much memory is usually considered negligible. However, a DOM parser in contrast has to build a tree representation of the entire document in memory. So this is to begin with using memory that increases with the entire document length. So this takes considerable time and space for large documents, including the memory allocation and data structure construct take time. So it means that the compensating advantage, of course, is that once loaded in any part of the document can be accessed in any order. So due to the nature of the DOM, or the document object model, stream reading from disk requires techniques such as lazy evaluation, cache memory ninyo bilagay sa virtual memory, and persistent data storage, data structures, or other techniques such as one technique is disclosed in US Patent 5557722. I don't know what that is, guys, but if you're going to Google US Patent 555 7722, you will eventually know what is the content of that. Now, the processing XML documents larger than the main memory is sometimes thought impossible. The reason for this is because DOM parsers do not allow it. However, it is no less possible than sorting a dataset larger than the main memory using disk space as memory to sidestep this limitation. So on the other task, such as sorting, rearranging selections, getting from a link to its target, looking up information on one element to help the process one later. So those are the examples. Now, if there is an advantage of SACs, there's a drawback. And the event-driven model of SACs is used for XML, of course. But virtually, any kind of XML validation requires access to the document in full. So there's no guarantee that you can find any access for this, for the totality of the document. However, the most trivial example is that an attribute declared in the DTD to be of type IDREF requires that there only be one element in the document that uses the same value for an ID attribute. To validate this in a SACs parser, one must keep track of all the ID attributes, and any one of them might end up being referenced by the edref attribute at the very end. So this means that the attribute, until it is resolved, and similarly to validate each element, has an acceptable sequence of child elements. So child-parent element gyapon guys sa classes ninyo kag sa objects bala na. So let's go back to OOP ninyo. For the XML processing with SACs, the parser that implements SACs function as a stream parser with an event-driven API. The user defines the number of callback method that will be called when events occur during parsing. So the SACs elements include, among others, number 1, XML test codes, nodes. Number 2, XML element stars and ends. Number 3, XML processing instructions. And number 4, XML comments. So some events correspond to XML object that can easily return all at once. However, XML elements can contain many other XML objects, and so SACs represent them as does XML itself. So it only means that by one event at the beginning and the other at the end. Without properly asking, the SACs interface does not deal with elements, but it deals with event and largely corresponds to tags. There are many SACs-like implementation in existence. In practice, details vary, but the overall model is the same. So the example of XML attribute are typically provided as name and value arguments passed to elements events, but can also be provided for separate events. So we have the hash table or similar collection of all attribute. And then for another, some implementations provide init and fin callbacks. Init is initiation. Fin is finished. So, ang init nga hit guys ha, lahin niya init, initialization da sa programming. Ang fin naman is finish, callbacks da sa nang ginatawag. And they are very start and the end of parsing. So, these are the names for given event types, also vary slightly between implementations. Okay, we have here your activity number 9. What you're going to do is you're going to produce a screenshot of the XML flow. So convert it to PDF and upload it in your Google Classroom. So how can you make this? By the way, this is a XML code. What you're going to do, guys, is copy the code, and then you type on your URL. You can type there online IDE, and then ang ginagamit naman karang first year tulad is the code chef no for online IDE. So you go to online IDE, and then okay, so I think there's no okay. Okay, so we're not going to use online IDE, guys. What we're going to use is XML IDE. Okay, so let's Okay, we're going to use xmleditonline.org. So let's try this. Or the tutorials point karon kung hindi siya magana, okay? So, ang first natin gamiton is the xmleditonline.org. So let's see. By the way, this is also called JSON editor, wherein it deals about XML, no? But I think guys, you can actually use ang ano ninyo, kunwari ka mo ang Visual Studio code, Visual Studio Code na. So you can kunwari ka mo mo ka online IDE para sa XML. So xmleditoronline.org. You can use Visual Studio code. Okay, so paste natin. Then run. So i-run natin siya pagkatapos. Kita nyo da? So you're going to play this. No, ayos siya. Okay. Okay, XML file. Okay, so 3 abe. Okay, so this one. Okay, so this one, what you're going to do is to run this and convert it to a tree. Kaya ang activity natin, let's go back sa... So produce a screenshot of the XML flow, convert it to PDF and upload it. Okay, so this is an example of the XML flow, no? So your tree or your JSON, no, it's not the JSON, it's the tree. Ang JSON gali is pwede nyo maran sa ano daya guys sa C# ninyo, pwede. But you can actually convert it to the tree, and ang answer sa activity niyo is this one. So the tree. Then you're going to produce the screenshot and paste it sa ano naton. Okay? So these are the possible output na makita ninyo using the XML function. Okay, so I think that is all for this afternoon. Thank you very much guys for attending our class, and don't forget to place your attendance. YouTube, you can comment there present for your attendance. Okay, so thank you and good afternoon. Bye-bye.